Ben Simmons is one of the most perplexing players in the NBA right now. If you've been following the NBA for the past few years, you know that Simmons burst onto the scene as one of the most promising young players in the league. He won Rookie of the Year, made the All-Defensive Team twice, was a 3-time All-Star, and even made an All-NBA team. This guy was on fire. But then, things started to take a turn for the worse. Simmons began having problems staying healthy, and even when he did play, he wasn't the same dominant force he used to be. It's like he hit a wall or something, and that's what makes Simmons such a confusing case study. How does a player go from being one of the best in the league to struggling to stay on the court? Is it a mental thing? A physical thing? Or is it just bad luck? Honestly, I don't know the answer to these questions. And as we go on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, Ben Simmons was part of the James Harden trade that brought him to Brooklyn. You see, Simmons was so dissatisfied with the situation in Philadelphia that he decided to hold out from playing. And it wasn't just because he wanted out of the Sixers. No, Simmons was also dealing with some serious mental issues that made it difficult for him to feel comfortable playing for his former team. Don't get me wrong, Simmons was an all-star player during his time in Philly. But since he moved to Brooklyn, his game has taken a nosedive. He's just not living up to expectations. Let's take a look at this season alone. Simmons' numbers are way below his career average in almost every category. Any semblance of offensive aggression is gone. It's crazy to think that during his final season with the Sixers, Simmons was averaging 11.3 drives and 11.2 field goal attempts per 36 minutes. But now, those numbers have plummeted to 4.8 and 7.2, respectively. It's like he's a completely different player out there. Joining forces with two higher usage stars does not explain away his nosedive. Even when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were missing, Simmons didn't step up his game much. And now they've left, and chances are Simmons will not fill their shoes. If anything, things are getting worse. The Brooklyn Nets head coach, Jack Vaughn, made a move and benched him after the trade deadline. But it gets worse. Vaughn has been straight up honest about Simmons being a liability on offense. And let's face it, his lack of contribution to the team is showing, with his minutes on the court taking a hit. As of now, Simmons has only managed to play in 42 out of 66 possible games due to a number of injuries. His back and knee problems seem to be the main culprits behind his absence from the court. But even when he does manage to make it onto the court, he hasn't exactly been playing up to his usual standards. You know what they say, absence makes the heart grow forgetful? And that's definitely true in some cases. When someone is absent for a while, it's easy to forget just how great they were. And that's exactly what is happening to Ben Simmons currently in the Nets. Simmons' stats for the season haven't been all that impressive. He's only been averaging 6.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game, which is quite low for a player of his caliber. Simmons' career numbers heading into this season are 14.7 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 7.5 assists per game, while shooting 56% from the field and 59.1% from the free throw line. And when you see Ben Simmons struggling on the court for the Nets, it's hard not to think about Penny Hardaway and the similar struggles he faced. There was a moment when Hardaway was one of the biggest basketball players in the world. I mean, just take a look at his first 4 years with the Magic. All rookie first team, all NBA first team, all NBA first team, all NBA third team. This is an impressive feat if you ask me. Back in the day, the Magic had Shaquille O'Neal and Hardaway paired up, making them the best show in the NBA during Michael Jordan's sabbatical. They were the ones to watch out for, and Penny was at the forefront of it all. Even after Jordan returned and Shaq left for LA, Penny still had the potential to be a marquee player for the next decade to come. And then he tore his left meniscus. And you could see it in him. He wasn't Penny Hardaway anymore. His old teammate Nick Anderson said on the terrific ESPN 30 for 30. Hardaway stuck around, but became a journeyman, roaming from the Suns to the Knicks to the Heat. In his 2 All-NBA first-time seasons, he'd been good for 21.3 points, 7.1 assists, and 2 steals per game, shooting 51.3% from the floor, but in his last 10 seasons, he averaged 11.8, 3.8, and shot .428. Although Simmons isn't as lethal on the defensive end as Hardaway, he sure did bring some excitement to the game during his time with the Sixers from 2018 to 2021. Simmons was definitely one of the most entertaining players to watch. He was good on defense, and his passing and ball handling skills were top-notch. It's just a shame to see Simmons struggling to find his place on the Nets roster. He was never a high-volume shooter, and to this day, has taken only 36 three-pointers in his career. But that too was part of his appeal. He knew his limitations. He knew he had other guys to shoot the three, and a beast underneath in Joel Embiid. And he is still a remarkable 56.5% career shooter on 2-point attempts. People were hyped about him, thinking he and Embiid were going to be the next Penny and Shaq. They were going to dominate the league for years to come. But man, things didn't work out that way. His time in Philly ended in a pretty ugly way. You see, Simmons is currently in a bit of a rough spot with the Nets. He's kind of become a high-end enigma for the team. And get this, he's due a whopping $77.9 million. But it's not just the team that feels the effects of Simmons' struggles. The fans are also feeling the heat. He's become a constant reminder of the big-name experiment the Nets invested in the last 4 years. You know, the one with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden? Yeah, that one. Nets coach Jack Vaughn said, "It's going to be some work that we have to do. Because you just take a look at what the lineups could potentially look like. You put another big next to Ben, then you got to figure out what the spacing is around him. Then, if you put another playmaker next to him, then you got to figure out what Ben looks like without the basketball. Then, if you go small with Ben, then you have to figure out, can you rebound enough with him? That's so damning that it might as well be an indictment. So the only scenario in which Simmons gets playing time is if he has the ball in his hands the entire time. Then you figure he's going to continue passing up late game layups because he's deathly afraid of going to the line. And the thing is, Simmons still has 2 years left on his contract, and it's a big one. $78 million is a lot of money, and it's going to be tough for any team to take on that kind of commitment. So even if the Sixers want to trade him, it's not going to be easy. Even if they do find a team that's willing to take on Simmons, there's a chance that he could end up being a sunk cost. That is, if a team acquires him and he continues to struggle, they might just tell him to stay away from the team and not play. It's no secret that physical injuries have affected Simmons' performance on the court, but there's also a mental health component that can't be ignored. It makes you wonder if he'll ever be able to bounce back like Penny Hardaway did back in the day. It's clear that Simmons has the potential to be more than just a second string center, but can he tap into that potential? But here's the thing, things aren't looking so great for Simmons right now. It seems like his confidence has taken a major hit and his injuries are starting to pile up. I mean, it's tough to watch a player who's getting paid over $35 million this season struggle so much. I mean, it really is frustrating to see someone with so much talent struggle like this. But we have to remember, injuries and lack of confidence can really mess with anyone's head, especially within the high-pressure world of professional basketball. But here's the thing, we can't give up on Simmons just yet. The playoffs are right around the corner, and the Nets could really use his help if they want to make a deep run. So let's hope he can recover soon and get back to his A-game. Do you think Simmons will bounce back and reclaim his spot as one of the best players in the league? Or is he destined to be remembered as a player who couldn't live up to his potential? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more NBA content. Until next time, stay awesome.